We see them every day. Whether you're watching TV or just walking around town, iPods can be seen everywhere. Apple has penetrated every part of daily life and has completely changed how people listen to and sell their music. They've created a culture where people have started to define themselves by their iPod. However, the iPod has become more than just an MP3 player. It has become a symbol of modern and popular culture, and with its tremendous impact on society, it can be considered one of the most important cultural artifacts of the 20th century. Music technology has always been evolving, and the iPod is a result of evolution. However, the iPod has changed the way music is shared and stored. Before the iPod, music was primarily stored on CDs and records. It was considered cool to have a large collection of CDs on display. Yet now you can hit a button and have every CD you own in your hand. Items like CD towers and record players have all become obsolete. In addition, Apple's iTunes has drastically changed the way you can obtain music. There's little need for music stores in today's society. With the click of the mouse, you can have access to a wide range of music, much of which could not even be found in local music stores. The iPod stretches much further than just an MP3 player. It has affected society and can be related to Hildagos' 3 levels of culture.
I always make sure to take out my iPod, my wallet, my phone, my keys. Those are the essentials.
When I leave the house, I take an iPod with me, my headphones, and a backpack.
The iPod itself is the concrete evidence of the culture that has been created. Many people carry their iPods wherever they go. It has gone to the same level as a cell phone. When people leave their house, there are certain items that people will carry with them. Today, these items usually consist of a person's phone, keys, wallet or purse, and then their iPod. It is a part of today's culture to have your iPod so you can listen to it throughout your day.
White headphones symbolize to me freedom and Apple.
Phones symbolize individuality.
iPods have become symbolic for many ideas, and one of those ideas is freedom. The white iPod headphones have become an icon for the iPod. Almost every commercial you see on TV features the shadow of a person dancing. However, the iPod headphones are white. When you put on the white iPod headphones, it is supposed to be like you can express yourself and be free of the norms. Another way that iPods relate to Hildagos' symbolic level of culture is how iPods have started to play a role in social class. They are definitely one of the most common, yet prominent status symbols of contemporary society. Most of the popular models of iPods are expensive, and for many people are not financially feasible. With most people being keenly aware of the price of each iPod, it is a quick display of how much you are willing to spend on accessories. A person that does not have one can be viewed as a lower social class, especially when the social norm is to have the latest and greatest model.
Yeah, I listen to it in public. I kind of use it to avoid people. You know, when I'm sitting in lecture before the class starts and I don't really want to talk to anybody.
For all the benefits that iPods have, there are a few negatives when it comes to the behavioral aspect of them. This mainly happens when we look at the language factor. A question that has arisen is, do iPods make a person antisocial? When people are out listening to their iPods, interactions between other people are at a minimum, and language is lost. Music allows for people to use their eyes when they're listening in public. It lets you look at someone, but do not look at them when they look at you back. The earplugs tell them that you're otherwise engaged. Therefore, it's a great urban strategy for controlling interaction. For example, you go to the store and when you're shopping you listen to an iPod. When it's your time to check out, your iPod can be used to avoid interaction with the cashier. You can create your own impermeable space, and it can be compared to living in a bubble. The impermeable space created by iPods is yet another interesting point that should be examined. By people using their iPods to avoid interaction, it can bring up another question. Have the ideas of public space changed? The Times asks, what becomes of public space when the public space becomes privatized? People like to control their environment, and the iPod is the perfect way to privatize your own space while in public. Music is the most powerful medium for thought, mood, and movement control. Then again, what about the person at the supermarket checkout? If music affects you in these ways, does the public space become colder as the personal space becomes warmer through your own music? If music was playing in the supermarket, would you be more inclined to have a conversation with them? What was once thought to be just a music player has now become a culture of its own. As the iPod continues to change, the culture around them changes too. It will be interesting to see what the future holds, and the iPod will continue to be one of the most important cultural artifacts of the 20th century.